Hey now, welcome to Lone Star Mini Restoration. The plans for today are to begin to remove the floorboard in my Mini. So really, honestly, this is probably the biggest task that I have started down thus far. Removing the engine, doing all that stuff. Removing the whole front end was kind of interesting and fun, but that was like a year ago, and I had a little bit of help. Um, this is probably the biggest task that I will have begun. So first of all, the very first questions I had to ask was, okay, are there any parts that I want to salvage? And yes, because over here I have the Heritage new floor panel, but it doesn't have the crossbeam. Over there on the shell is the existing floor panel with the crossbeam. So I do want to salvage that. And because working with metal is new to me, I am experimenting, if you will, and playing, trying to develop a few skills. The typical tools that I think I'm going to need. Let me come over here. One tool that I may be using, I'm going to try to avoid this right now, but I may end up using the typical spot weld drill bit remover. If I'm talking funny, by the way, it's because the other day, 2 days ago now, I got home and I bent down to hug River, our dog, and he jumped up so excited and clocked me in the chin and made me bite the heck out of my tongue. So it hurts. Yeah, it hurts. So I'm going to try to avoid this if I can. And the reason being is because I want to salvage the crossbeam. Therefore, yes, I could find the spot welds and then I could drill them out. But that would leave a hole in the flange of my crossbeam. Small or big, depends on which side I come from. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to try to avoid this, but I may need to use it. Primarily what I'm going to be using is I'm going to go for the grinding disc. And I'm going to talk about this real quick, but I'm going to go for the grinding disc and I'm going to grind away the metal on the floor side from the bottom of the car. That way I leave my flange, ideally, I leave my flange completely intact on the crossbeam. That's my plan. But hey, before I get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about tools because the other question, not only did I have to figure out, okay, what do I want to salvage, but the other question is, what are the best tools that I think I'm going to need? Now, I realize there's, a dozen ways to skin a cat. However, for me, not experimenting, I'm learning, right? For me, I just want to know what the best tools are, and it really comes to a matter of whatever you get used to. That's what you like, and so I've got to figure out what I like, what I prefer. But real quick, one particular shout out because I haven't done my IMM video yet. I still have all that footage, and I haven't touched it. So it may be a while before I even get that out. But I wanted to say thank you to Adam Campion. Adam Campion gave me this Union Jack car flag. So it's going to hang here, or it's going to be here in my shop the entire time that my restoration is in work. Because on my maiden voyage, when I christen this bad boy and I drive her for the first time, I'm going to put that flag on my Mini when I drive it. So Adam, you'll be with me, so to speak, on that maiden voyage. And I thank you, Adam, for giving. Adam gave this to me when we met at IMM. Yeah, that was special. Thank you, sir. And another shout out that actually got me thinking about the right tools was the Little General. He's doing a mini restoration, and we're along the same lines. He's learning as well, and I relate to him. And recently he did a video, I think it was on the quarter panel, where he basically took out a section, reworked a new panel, and welded it in. And the reason why I'm shouting that out now, first of all, you did a fantastic job. If you happen to see this video, I admire your work, and you did a really good job, I believe. But the reason I'm doing that, because he did some metal work. He had to, he did the welding, then he ground down the welds, and he made it look beautiful. He made it look seamless, right? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But if you haven't checked out the Little General's restoration. Go check it out. The dude's a Scotsman, I believe, and so far all the Scotsmen I've met are fantastic. I haven't met the little general, but he seems like a really good guy. Okay, so that brings me to tools really fast. The tools I plan to work with are. The cord stuck on my miter saw. Okay, the primary tool that I plan to work with is an angle grinder. And the reason I'm going to use an angle grinder is I'm going to use the thick disc, if you see here, if that's picking that up, I'm not sure. But it's a thick disc, and basically angle grinders are great with the disc, grinding disc. They remove a lot of metal fast. So that's why I'm using that. Now, I had to decide, okay, do I use an angle grinder, with a grinding disc, or do I use a die grinder, pneumatic tool, to start removing metal? And really, for me, I think it's important to have both in your toolbox. Now, the pros and cons, I'm going to talk about that really quick. All right, first of all, the angle grinder. These come in various sizes. I mean, I think this is a fairly small one. I know they come a little bit smaller, but basically you can buy, I think, two different sizes. This one's for 4.5 discs. I think you can get a bigger one, but I didn't want the bigger one. But 4.5 discs is really all I can put on this. I can't shrink this down. I can't enlarge this disc. That's it. I think that's kind of a con, right? The other con for me is, here in Texas, this is going to be another hot day. I think it's supposed to be close to 90, so that, I don't know. It's going to be in the mid to high 30s Celsius. And it's, what is it? It's freaking October, right? But a con is that when this is electric, that's fantastic. That's a pro. I just run an extension cord to wherever I'm working and I've got power. This sucker has instant torque and instant power. That's fantastic. You can't really finesse with this. I mean, you can put different discs on this, but this is for like the heavy metal work, right? But this sucker produces heat. See these vents along the sides here? A lot of times I've used this without gloves. And when you're out in 100-degree weather, or even in the winter, maybe in the winter it feels good, but this sucker pumps out hot air. So when it's 100 degrees out during the summer and it's pumping out additional hot air, you start dripping sweat. To me, that's kind of a con. No big deal, but I thought it worth mentioning. Contrary to the pneumatic, these bad boys, the vents are down here on this guy. They're on the bottom. But all the different pneumatic tools have venting differently. Like this one. This is a 90-degree angle. This one, for my cutting, with my cutting blade, the vents are along the side. This sucker puts out cold air. And I'm not kidding you. In the summer, if I constantly use this, man, my fingers freeze. I have to wear gloves because my fingers do freeze. Now, one of the benefits to pneumatic, I believe, are they come in all different flavors. This one's a 90-degree angle. They're smaller, easier to handle. You can get into tight places. This particular one, I plan on using. That's why I put a wire brush on it. I have to find some of the spot welds, so I have to grind away a lot of the dirt and grime. I'm using that just to clean up the bottom of the car so I can see the spot welds. But all different flavors, 90-degree, straight. Then they've got, this one's it's 90-degree too, but it's long reach for reaching into those tight areas. This has my spot weld remover bit. But all different sizes. But not only are these in different flavors, this disc right here, you can change all day long. I can get small discs, I can get stones, I can get just different sizes to fit in tight places, larger, smaller, different types. Fantastic. I've never really used stones, so I can't speak to their benefits. But really quick on discs. The one major con to pneumatic is you need an air compressor. And I realize that not everybody has an air compressor in their toolbox, right? And not only do you need an air compressor, you need one that can handle the airflow. Like for this, it's not bad. I have an 80-gallon tank, and my tank will just keep on pumping, all day long. But if you want to paint, it requires more CFM, um, cubic feet per minute airflow. So yeah, that's kind of a major con. If you don't have an air compressor, pneumatics out. You can't use them. You got to use electric. However, so really quick, different discs, and I don't think I'm going to be using all these, but the Little General's Mini, he's the guy that got me thinking about this and that, okay, what tools do I need when I start removing these spot welds? Well, I'm going to start with a grinding disc. See, this guy is pretty doggone thick, right? This is what I'm going to start with. Now, it's never happened to me, but I hear these shatter fairly easily. So obviously, goggles, gloves, protective gear, and definitely wear earplugs. I don't have like proper earplugs. I just have these little, foam bad boys, squeeze, put in your ear. I'm going to be using this because when you're grinding on metal, um, yeah, it gets loud. So, but you have these different discs. I'm going to say this is a con. One con to these metal discs, these are fabulous for taking out a lot of metal quickly, right? Because with the electric angle grinder, you get instant torque, instant speed. But minis are made of thin metal, and I've learned recently when I started my welding practice that thin metal warps incredibly fast with heat. Well, when you continuously grind with these bad boys, they produce a lot of heat. Therefore, a lot of heat's going into that thin metal. So maybe it depends on the application that you're doing. If it's something new, it's not. You need to be mindful. But for me, I'm taking stuff away, so I'm not really concerned about the heat because the whole floorboard's coming out. However, noted, right? This sucker puts in a lot of heat. Whereas the next step to once you grind stuff down, like I would use a flapper disc if I were welding, and then if I want to sand down the edges of the weld and make it seamless, like the Little General did, I would use a flapper disc to start with. Now these come in all different grits. This one's a 60 grit. I've got several different grits over here, but they're basically a layered sandpaper that goes around, and they're layered. But that means air can get in between the sandpaper. That means they do not put in as much heat. These guys are relatively inexpensive. I think, I don't know, $3, I think, per disc. These are maybe almost double, $5 to $6 per flap disc. But they don't put in nearly as much heat. And this is what I plan to. I don't think I'm going to use this today, but when I do start welding, I'll probably be using these guys. Let's see, what else? Let's see, heat, cold, flapper disc, speed. Oh, one other pro, and really this comes involved to finessing. With pneumatic tools, you can control your speed if needed. You didn't have to be full power. So that's just a difference, good or bad. This sucker has instant torque, instant speed, constant speed. Pneumatic tools typically spin at higher revolutions. It kind of makes up for the instant torque, but you can also control your speed. So today I plan on using this bad boy just really to clean up the welds. And then I'm going to use the angle grinder starting on the bottom of the car. I am going to just grind away the metal of the floorboard and try to salvage the flange on the crossbeam. Before I start, I've already done this. Before I start, I have remeasured. I've remeasured the door opening height from lip of the roof to lip of the door seal. I've remeasured cross. This is the third or fourth time I've done it. However, this time, the reason why I did it again is I got a tape measure with both metric and imperial. So I measured, and so now I have it's like 127 millimeters door seal to door seal, and 97 centimeters from, anyhow. I did it in metric. That's kind of cool. So, let's see here. I guess that's about it. That's the difference between electric, pneumatic, Electrics get hot, pneumatics get cold, size differences. For me today, I think I'm just going to try to use the angle grinder. Although with that said, I'll probably have to get like a chisel and a hammer on the other side and just kind of knock the little, you know, uh, whatever, Klingons, if you will, um, uh, knock them loose so that I can pull the entire crossbeam out. I'm going to do the bottom of the crossbeam first, and then the little vertical flanges. I haven't figured out how I'm going to tackle them yet. I'm going to get all the bottom ones, and then I'll look at the vertical flanges where the crossbeam meets the door sill. And I don't know. I might have to use the drill bit on that one if I can't access it with the angle grinder. I don't know, but so again, Adam, thank you for this. He gave it to me at IMM. I'm going to keep that bad boy. I'm honored. Thank you, sir. I'm going to keep it and use it on my maiden voyage. Little General, you gave me the idea of trying to figure out, okay, what tools do I really need when I saw your finished panel there after you welded, which I think looks really good. I'm not there yet, but I will be. Today is exciting, people. I'm going to go and I'm going to start cleaning, and I'll show that footage, cleaning looking for the spot welds, and then I'm going after it. So, ain't it great? All right, yeah, let's go over there. Let's get started. Just one little tip I thought it's worth mentioning. I can't tell you how many times I've been outside, like with a vacuum cleaner or another tool, and I'm cleaning and I pull the cord too much and it pops out of the extension cord, and then you got to stop what you're doing and go back. So what I always do now is I just wrap it one time like you're tying a knot, plug it in, and it never comes apart. So as you're pulling it, we're good. So yeah, I thought that worth mentioning. I don't know if you can see here, but I can see lines. In fact, I can see light through. So I'm guessing I hit the edge of the flange on the crossbeam. But here, I mean, you can see. I think that's the bottom of the crossbeam flange. I'm going to flip the car over now, and I'm going to take the chisel, and I'm going to see how well I'm doing. Let's see here. Now I'm going to take a little chisel and see how well I did the job. Wow. All right, that was beautiful. That one went right through. So there's no spot weld there anymore. All right, so far 4 out of 4. Look at that, beautiful. I think. I don't know. Somebody might look at this and think, yeah, no, dude, you could have done it 10 times better, and probably so. But all right, so that's 4 for 4. So basically, you see what I'm doing. I'm not going to film the whole thing. I'm just going to carry on. I wanted to show exactly how I'm doing it. All right, so one thing that I thought I would point out is I had to remove part of my jig, which, first of all, I was very thankful my jig's not welded in. It's all bolted together. So I could remove this template here. And if you can see the heat that grinder puts in. Look at those heat spots. I'm just going to chisel under this. But also, the reason why I stopped to record was because I've got to remove this brake tab from the tunnel and the crossbeam. So I'm going to have to grind down this weld and remove it, as well as this guy, but before I can remove the entire. So far, it's fairly painless, and the intimidation factor that I had prior to starting is pretty much gone. Okay, so I've come back, and here I am. I've got to problem solve a little bit because the entire crossbeam is now unattached from the floor. I mean, the floor, the tunnel, the only locations that it's attached is at the end of the crossbeam. But I've got the outer sill, I've got the doorstep, everything's in the way. I can't get to it to grind it off. I may actually have to use the spot weld drill bit and remove it that way. Which is okay, right? However, just in fun, because I can, I cut the outer seal away. It's all rusted out anyways, and I can see down into the crossbeam, so it's kind of cool. So I thought, I don't get to see this every day, it's new to me, so I thought I'd get my endoscope and put it on my phone, the video, and so I'll video it and I'll include it, but I'm just going to stick this bad boy down there and look. I mean, there's nothing really to see, however, it's kind of cool. There is a top and bottom to this camera, but I can't. They should have. I need to mark. I need to mark, like put a little line on the end of this endoscope telling me which way is up, because it does matter which way. So here I go. I am going to record. Come on. All right. So I'm recording now, and let's see here. So here's the outside. Let me back away from it. See, it's upside down. Okay, there's right side up, right? So I come down, see, here it is. So now I've cut away the outer sill, as you can see, and we'll go in to the crossbeam. It's kind of cool. Look at that. Is the light on? Yeah, the light's on. Okay, so you can see all that seam? You can see that the flange is removed. Along those, that's the bottom of the crossbeam right there. It's all that light going through. That's because I've removed the spot welds and I've taken the chisel and kind of pried it up a little on both sides. Look at that, nice and clean, baby. But anyhow, so yeah, you can see I could keep taking, I could push it all the way through, I suppose, until I hit the tunnel. But that's the inside of. These are the bolts, I guess, on the inside of the crossbeam that the seat attaches to. Kind of cool. Look at that. But yeah, so there you go. Inside of the crossbeam. I think that's kind of cool. Anyhow, now back out here. I cut away the, like I said, I cut away the outer sill. But pretty neat, huh? I think so. Alright, so now I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the flanges in here, and I'm going to use the spot weld drill bit. I could cut away out here. I could cut all this away and grind and until I found it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to drill it out and then go from there. Ain't it great? Success! Look at this bad boy! Alright, job is complete. Dave Jack, you know, I cussed you out a few times, sir. Not your fault. But it's great because I'm constantly reminded of you. That dadgum center beam in my on my rotisserie, every time I tilt it and then I crawl inside to cut or grind or do something, my head hits that center beam. I'm like, Dad, gummit. So I look up and see your name, so I think of you. So cuss you. Sorry, dude, but thank you, dude. Okay, so here is the crossbeam. She is out, and I want you to notice that I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna bring it in closer here. I want you to notice. See the flanges? Oh, here. See the flanges here? They are intact. No holes. In fact, on the bottom side, I did it fairly well, actually. That yeah. I mean, honestly, there's a little bit of material left here that I may have to like just lightly grind down, but I did not touch the flanges at all. So honestly, honest to God, I think it's a job well done. Now, the one complication that I did have was on the passenger side. That would be the right-hand side of the aircraft. Right-hand side of the Mini. And the reason why I had a bit of a challenge was because that side of the car was really rusted out horribly bad. I mean, the outer sill, the inner sill, everything. And part of the flange, part of the vertical flange where the crossbeam meets the door sill, half of it was eaten up with rust anyways. And so trying to drill out the spot weld was a bit difficult. But you can see here, I did a fairly decent job. Now these are some big freaking holes, and that's why I didn't want to do that throughout the crossbeam. I didn't want these size holes in all the flanges. I had no choice on the end. But so this side of the crossbeam is a little bit rough. Because of that, I'm actually considering the idea of maybe just buying a new crossbeam. I don't know. We'll see. However, everywhere else, even on the other side I did something different. Rather than spot drill or remove using a drill bit, I cut it out. So I'm going to have to clean up this flange. You can see here, it's still kind of full. I'm going to have to grind what should not be there. I'm going to have to grind that off or cut it off. But I cut it out because I could not find I couldn't find where the spot welds were. I knew approximately where they were, but I didn't want to cut. I didn't want to drill randomly. So I cut it out. I should have done that on the other side. But now I just have a little bit more work to do. But all in all, this bad boy is out. And it's in decent shape. So now I'll clean it up and I'll decide whether or not I'm going to actually use it. The odds are high. Or if I'm going to just replace it altogether. Now I am going to clean up. I've got a whole heck of a lot of metal out there on the driveway. I'm going to clean that up, put my tools away, and create this video. So anyhow, all in all, honestly, I think it was a success. It was a learning curve. I started off with a fairly large intimidation factor, but that went away really quickly once I figured out the best way how to remove spot welds via grinding. Oh, hey, I learned something else too. Metal and dirt and grime is fantastic hair gel, man. I can make my hair, here you go, I can make my hair stick up any which way I want, man, and it's just going to stay. So metal, dirt and grime, outstanding hair gel, man. Is that a mohawk? Am I doing it? Anyhow, sorry. I've made another successful archive for my memory, and down the road when I get to my next car, and I'm learning. That's exciting. I'm learning. I think I'm going to enjoy the journey a whole lot more. Yeah, but I see DB Mini. I see his face now all the time. He was so excited when he finally drove his Mini after however many years it was parked. I think I'm going to have to, yeah. I'm excited about that one day, but I'm going to enjoy the journey. All right, thanks for watching. Bye just now.